Previously on the Cut Crease commentary.
If she brings Marshall home as a husband, they're probably not going to view him as a man either. So I'm not going to lie, like I feel like he is the friend zoned kind of guy. Jackie shouldn't have to give the ring back to Marshall. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da. Let's talk about Kwame and Chelsea. So the internet really does not like Kwame, and I was wondering why don't they like him. So they were saying he's just another black guy who has like identity issues and doesn't really like his blackness because he wanted to be called Alex, not Kwame. But I understood in the pods what he was saying. He was saying his first name is Alex. He uses Kwame more often, but he was wondering which one should he use. Should he use his biological name in the order that it was given to him, or should he use his middle name that he usually goes by? Again, the show is called Love is Blind. There is no other race with nobody named Kwame that I know of, basically. So I see why he didn't want to call himself Kwame, because he didn't want people to make judgments about his appearance, race, whatever, just based on his name. I don't think that he was saying anything else to stray us away from who he was, or that he wasn't, you know, he is a black man that likes black women as a preference. And unfortunately that happens very often, and even if it's just not white women, they like ambiguous women, mixed women, exotic women. It's a lot of black men out here, you know, searching around, dipping and dabbling in other ponds, like with other races. And you know, to each their own. Once he is not shaming black women or against black women or hating black women, like what you like or whatever the case may be, I just feel like all of the allegations that he hates himself, I couldn't see evidence to support that, to be honest. What I like about him, he's athletic. You can tell that family means a lot to him. So he's also talented. He plays the guitar, he did a little bit of singing, so I feel like he has more to him than just one dimension. You know, I feel like there's layers to his character, layers to his personality, that we saw a glimpse of, but you know, there's only so much they can show on the show. But Kwame was very in love with Micah. Nobody kind of told me Kwame wasn't in love with Micah. Chelsea knew it. She's talking about she didn't know how deep, but maybe she didn't know. I don't know. But we knew. I feel like people at home know Kwame was ready to die. I'm telling you. Whenever Micah broke up with him, he's talking about at the reunion, he said he had it in his notebook to break up with Micah. You know you lying. Kwame, how many times did you and Chelsea rehearse what to say at that reunion? Because it was given rehearsal. It was given very rehearsed. It was given, Chelsea was like, you better not say anything to make us trending on the internet. Like, she was really just watching him so closely when he was talking. It was making me so cringy. Them together, I just don't see what made them match. Honestly, besides the fact that Kwame is a black guy and Chelsea's a white girl, I think Chelsea has a fetish for black guys, and I think Kwame has a fetish for white girls, and I think that's how they ended up together. No lie. I think Chelsea was a second choice because Micah was no longer available, and as hard as that may be, I think he probably grew more to love Chelsea, but he was very heartbroken about Micah. And she can jump, roll over, do everything. He was in love with that girl, and she just happened to be the second person that I feel like Bliss wasn't the second choice of the season. It was Chelsea. He needs constant validation, and I think that is in connection with his childhood. Probably he needed to get that from his parents a lot growing up, or he longed to get that from his parents and didn't really get it. But you could tell that with Micah, he was always seeking validation. See, Chelsea was just throwing him validation every time. every time. But he was still more leaning towards Micah, even if she wasn't validating him. So I just feel like that has something to do with his childhood. There is a connection between Kwame and Chelsea when it comes to their childhood. They have some kind of childhood trauma that is bonding them together, because you can see Chelsea makes so many references to her childhood, having the blanket, being in love with pink, always wanting to have, and I understand as a woman, like when I got married, there's things I always wanted to have too, but she had this whole plan already written and just needed a guy to insert here. And I feel like their relationship is an insert here type of relationship. It's not no love type of thing. How they got together now, how they are today, I have no idea. But it comes across to me that if you insert any white guy and any black guy into their stories, it would probably have been the same way. Because how you shopping for a guy at Calvin Klein for underwear with your mom, which is so weird, because you know that person gonna be your husband. But you don't know if they like Calvin Klein. You don't know, like, you're just gonna buy them underwear and give it to them, and like, I don't know. We'll talk about Chelsea soon, but let's stay on Kwame. I feel he is attracted to white women, but I don't think it's a self-hate thing, because I don't think he hates black women. I just think it's a preference thing, and who knows why that developed. He laughs a lot to ignore answering questions, and I hate people like that. Like, why are you laughing? It wasn't that funny. Like, your friends asking you, are you going to say yes at the altar? Like, what are you laughing at? Like, I just felt like that was so off-putting, and he did it a lot. Whenever Chelsea asked him questions, he kind of just laughed it off, or at least that's what Netflix showed us. I don't know if that's how it really happened in real life. I also felt like he was making a lot of sacrifices. He was moving away. He was in her space. He was becoming a dog dad. You know, he was doing a lot of things that Chelsea wanted to do. He was adopting pink as his favorite color. That boy had this pink thing at the reunion, or pink or peach, whatever color they were wearing. We know Kwame didn't really want to wear that. Like, he is adopting her life so much, and I don't know what it is. She never talked about learning his culture. She never talked about learning his language. She never talked about, I don't even think she asked him much about his personal childhood. And like, I didn't see anything about Chelsea getting to know Kwame and his culture and his life and the things that where she would have to, you know, do things to make an adjustment and fit into his life. I think all the adjusting was left for Kwame to do, and I did not like that. No, he and Micah were very inappropriate in the pool. I can see how Micah manipulated him, because she knew that he was heartbroken over her, and she used that to her advantage. And trust me, like, when I was younger, in like younger relationships, I could understand how that could happen, because it's like, you're so heartbroken over a person, all you want to do is talk to them. So at that point, whatever they say, you're just gonna listen. You're gonna be like, you just want that person to like show you love, and I feel like that's how he closed that chapter in order for him to move on. But it wasn't closing. It's like, how many times you need to close that same chapter? Because you're not gonna be at my birthday party as your fiance talking to your ex about how much you love them and will always love them. It's not happening. It was very inappropriate, and I said they need to chew him up the same way they were chewing Batty's out. But okay, but does that make me hate Kwame? No, because again, if that was the person who he had chosen in the past and they didn't choose him, I could see how he allowed himself to be manipulated by Micah in that situation. But he has to take accountability for his actions. He should have known when to cut that off and keep it moving, right? But he didn't do that. So with Chelsea, what I have is that she is pretty and she is mature, right? But I don't have many other things to say besides the fact that she's pretty and mature. Honestly, like, I think I liked her more in the pods than in the real world, because I need to keep doing my makeup. I feel like in the real world, everything was about Chelsea. It's the Chelsea show, Everybody else is just an extra, including Kwame, and I don't even really know what she likes about Kwame. Honestly, I think because he's a good person for her. Like everything is I, me. She's very self-centered to me. I think she likes Kwame again because he fits into her fairy tale dream, and she came on the show looking for somebody that could fit to that dream. Fit in that dream. Kwame has the blackest name of them all, so she know for sure he's a black person, and I feel like she had a fetish for black guys, and she found a black guy to fit into her perfect dream. And I couldn't understand why she was so nervous about her father meeting Kwame, but I was like, maybe his race had something to do with it, and she didn't know if that would be approved. Because I'm like, why are you so nervous? You should know your parents well enough to know that, you know, he'd be okay with it, because that was okay. So like I don't understand why she was so nervous. I know the premise of the show is one reason to be nervous, but I feel like it was more than that. So I don't know if it's because maybe Kwame was her first black boyfriend that she was bringing home, and she don't know how they would react to that. Because again, just like as Kwame's mother wanted him to date within his race, probably she felt like her parents also wanted her to marry within her race as well. Yeah, I don't know. Chelsea comes off a little bit cringy to me. Yeah, I don't know what she... But I did like the fact that she called out not Micah, she called out Irina. I thought that was bold and a good move because she needed to hear it. So I do appreciate that about her, that she is... but what I didn't like about her, I feel like she hides a lot. When they off camera, she might do something, but then she wouldn't address it on camera, but she will address other people on camera. So she will address Irina on camera, you know, she will address Kwame on camera about what he did, holding Micah's hand and talking to her for so long and all that. I'm surprised she allowed it to go on for as long as it did and that she didn't interrupt, but I think that she was thinking that it was necessary for him in order for him to move on, so she didn't want to interrupt. But I just feel like when they were at that, when she and Kwame was shopping or something, and she was telling him what to say. Just say I look, what she said? Just say I look beautiful. Just say, like, I don't know, it was giving pick me, I don't know. But then again, Kwame was trying to tell her that basically he feeling like he cannot breathe. You suffocating me. That's basically what he was saying. And he was like, I cannot drive to Portland to get a breather and come back. You know, there's a lot of changes that I am making. And she basically gave him some ridiculous answer like, I wish you could drive to Portland. What? Like, no, I just feel like she's overbearing. She's like a mother, like she always and she does that thing with her lip that really makes me upset. I don't know, because this part of her lip is like bigger, you know, like when you bust your lip like as a child, and like it has a little abscess and it's a little bit bigger or whatever. She has that thing on her, like that part of her lip, and she does this facial expression that makes it stick out a little bit more. Pretty girl, but yeah, that does happen. And like it's like she hovering over him all the time, and I can see as a man how suffocating that could be, just as a person in general, because I would hate for my mom to be like that with me as well, you know what I mean? So I definitely did not like that at all. People saying that they surprised Kwame said yes, or that Chelsea said yes, but I always thought that they would say yes. Honestly, I just thought that they would say yes, because at this point, like I said, it was a fetish that they both have. And if Kwame went on another show, allegedly, to try and find love, I don't think he would get on this show successfully and walk out empty-handed. I feel like if he made it to the altar, he was going to marry somebody. Unfortunately, but yes, it's true. And they claim that they're doing well. I didn't buy it at all. I feel like it was rehearsed. Again, Chelsea was watching him way too close to make sure he was saying the right thing. Like making sure he was following the script. Okay, that is how it came across to me. So, I just feel like they're lying about how well they're doing. But who wouldn't come on a reunion show and say that? Like, No. Chelsea is saying that Kwame's mom is like was open arms and like they have good vibes and they met each other and da da da. I feel like she was over exaggerating that. You probably met the mother, yes, but y'all not best friends. Y'all not texting. You're not going to visit her. Like you don't know her like that. I just don't feel like she knows her like that. Like the way she's trying to make it seem. And I feel like she does fetishize black guys, and Love is Blind is the perfect show to say how you fell in love with a black guy. Oh, it wasn't about race. I didn't even know what race he was. I couldn't see him. I just fell in love with his soul. And then, you know, when I saw him, I was like, oh my God, he's gorgeous. Like, that's how she gonna explain it to all her little white friends and them. Like, she gonna make it seem like it wasn't a fetish when it was. You could tell by his name that he was black. You know, I don't know. I don't want to be too hard on Chelsea. That's just how it comes across to me. And I don't know, she wasn't appealing to me at all. Like, I just feel like she was very cringy, and and then Kwame should have just went home after Micah. She should not have continued that show. He should not have been with Chelsea. That wasn't, I'm surprised Chelsea continued to see him after that, honestly, after the whole Micah thing. But she did, again, because she has that fairy tale that she needs to complete. And Kwame is going along with it. He's the best candidate for the job. I couldn't see Brett being Kwame in that situation. And I don't understand the baby blanket thing. How old is she? Like, I cannot understand. She does some things that, like, very, again, weird, cringy. I'm not the one to understand it, but that, and then I understand the pink being liberating. But I just feel like, oh, she made a lot of reference to as a child. And I don't know, I feel like maybe there's some work that needs to be done to see why she holding on to her childhood so much. And I know our childhood makes us who we are today, but I think it's a little bit like there's more to it than just a fantasy you had as a child. We are real adults in a real world. Like, all of this fantasy stuff, I don't know. I don't get it. Okay, so let's move on to Bliss and Zack, please, because these people make me tired. Okay guys, so now that I am done with the cut crease, let's get into it with the face. I think it's going to go a little bit faster. I think the video is going to go a little bit faster because honestly I feel like I talked about the problem areas already, which was Kwame and Chelsea and Jackie and Marshall. So let's go on to Bliss and Zack. Bliss is just everything, okay? It's the poise, it's the looks, it's the intelligence, it's the not doing too much for me, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like she is the full package, and she's my favorite girl on the show. No, it's not Tiffany, and I know y'all not gonna agree about how I feel towards Tiffany, but I just feel like Bliss is very confident as a woman. She has a good head on her shoulders. She is gorgeous. I just feel like she was that girl, and I also feel like she was the first choice. I don't feel like she was the second choice. I feel like Zack allowed his pride to overpower his true emotions. In my notes for Bliss, I just have she is the queen of the season. She's beautiful, beauty, brains, poise, character. She's respectful, graceful, and she was the same in the reunion. She's the only person in the reunion I wasn't looking like, who is this? Because everybody came on just on a whole different thing for the entire reunion. Oh, everybody had a different persona for the reunion except for Brett, Tiffany, and Bliss. Those were the only people I think remained consistent to who they were on the actual show. So when it comes to Bliss, a lot of people feel like she shouldn't have been, she shouldn't have let herself be the second choice. I see where people come from, but honestly, you have to think about it. Look at things in the context of the experiment, to be honest. Like, I don't think we can judge it the same way we would judge things in the real world. Maybe she should have dated him before marrying him, I think, but according to her, she knew. So I mean, Bliss is a big girl. She can make her own decisions for herself. But I didn't think that that would happen. Honestly, I didn't think. I thought he would meet Bliss and they would talk or whatever, but I didn't think that they would get married and continue on the show. So I don't know, because we've never seen that before on Love Is Blind, and I'm surprised that they allowed him to continue on the show with Bliss. But I think on or off the show they would get married to one another, because the way Bliss looks at Zack, you would have swear like Zack is her Prince Charming, okay? Zack is her person, and she don't care what nobody has to say about it, including her dad, okay? Like, she found her person. I think that was amazing to see, because Irina, the very same things that made Irina's skin crawl, it definitely is what she admires in him, and she really loves who he is as a person. Now, Zack, I think Bliss is a good person for Zack. I don't know if Zack is a good person for Bliss. I would have loved to see an interaction between Bliss and Brett, and I don't remember seeing Brett date anybody else, but correct me if I'm wrong. But I would have loved to see their dynamic, because those are my two favorites, and like, yeah, I would have loved to see those two together, like just to see what they would be like. But I love the black love aspect about Brett and Tiffany, so I wouldn't confuse that. But I love the all black couple, so I'm definitely happy.
Mommy,
Yes.
I thought it was gone.
No, I'm right here. I'm shooting a video.
Oh.
You say, Mommy, I thought you was gone. That's funny. That's my 2-year-old. That's so cute. He just woke up from a nap, so that means I really need to like rush through the rest of this video, because I have to go and keep him company and do stuff with him, because he just came from school. So I do want to spend some quality time with him. And you guys, in that reunion, I truly thought Bliss was going to say that she was pregnant. The way that she was talking about it, when she said the way our relationship happened so fast, I was like, I wrote down, is Bliss pregnant? Because, and I just loved how she was like checking in with Zack, like during the without actually like checking in and talking to him, but like the little taps and the little squeezes on his leg. I thought that was really cute, and I would say that he did similar things as well, like putting his hand a little tighter around her shoulder, and just kind of checking in with each other to make sure like they okay, and you know, that just reminding them of their presence. So I really like that. You can tell that they are really in tune with one another. I love when they showed their apartment and he was singing to her, even if he can't sing, but she was in love with him. She was in love with the singing. Like, they were just like dancing together, and I really enjoyed seeing them at their wedding dance to their special song. And the whole thing, I do think that they belong together. Honestly, I really couldn't see him with nobody else. I could see her with somebody else, but I couldn't see him with anybody else. I think Bliss is a good person for him, but whether he is a good person for Bliss, we will see. When it comes to Zack, I think Zack trauma bonded with Irina, and the fact, and Bliss was a representative of people in his childhood that would judge him or judge his mom, and for that reason he was turned off when Bliss said, if you choose Irina, you're a bad judge of character. Especially as a lawyer, like by profession, you should kind of have a good you should kind of be able to judge people properly. But he is also, I think, a defense attorney, so I think he was on the defense when she said that, and he was like, okay, well, I'll show you better than I can tell you I am a good judge of character, knowing good and well that Irina wasn't a good person. But I think it's because they both came from poverty, and so they bonded with that, and the fact that, you know, in that moment when Bliss made that statement to him about Irina, he kind of like characterized her and put her in a box along with everybody else that has, you know, prejudged him in the past or judged his mom in the past. And I think that's why he decided to continue with Irina. I don't think it was ever Irina like that, honestly. Like, I feel like that changed last minute as soon as Bliss said that to him. So I think it was more his ego thing, and then that makes me side eye you. Because are you going to keep doing things in our relationship just to prove a point? Because that was like an extreme, you know. I do like the fact that Zack is straightforward. You'd think he was more timid, like just because he's very quirky or whatever. A lot of girls said that they didn't like Zack in the pods, and I don't know why. Was it because he was pretending to be a stripper, which, like, I guess we can understand after he gave the story, but I really kind of don't, because I don't know. I guess he just again wanted to see if people would judge him, and that was his way of weeding out the good from the bad in his mind. That was his strategy. Yeah, I think that's how that was his strategy, to kind of see who was really there for him, or who would be interested because he is a lawyer, and you know, he is, you know, a lawyer, successful, making a lot of money. So he kind of wanted to see who was really who, and I understand that, especially after he gave the story about his mom. I did not like how he kind of inserted himself into the conversation about Micah and Paul. Like, you are not his attorney. You probably, it felt like he was doing pro bono work at that reunion. Like, Zack, this is not your client. You over there whispering things just like how you see in the movies. All those lawyers will be whispering to the defendants or whatever, don't say anything, don't show, you know, like, I could tell. Like, that was just a little bit weird to me. I did not like that, and I feel like Irina was siding with him as well, because I mean, it's her husband, stand by your man type of thing, but at the same time it wasn't their battle to fight. And I know she was kind of Bliss was kind of trying to get them all to kind of move along with the conversation, but I feel like Zack really wanted to say his piece about that. And he also wasn't with Irina and all of the crying shenanigans that she was doing. I don't want to talk too much about Irina. I feel like she's a lost girl, honestly, and she is a mean girl. I feel like she has a lot of work to do. All of the fake crocodile tears, with, you know, crying without crying. What's up with the crying without tears? I don't know. But anyway, I didn't really buy it. I feel like the only way that she can do that is just work on who she is and change those habits. That is all she needs to do, and that'll be all. She don't need to prove, I don't think she needs to prove anything to anybody but herself and God, you know, and show that she's a better person. But I really didn't buy too much into what she was saying at the reunion, because it's like she was taking accountability but not taking accountability all at the same time. I feel like Zack was trying to give her that smoke, and then I was just like, but your wife is saying we already talked and we already forgive you and we're moving on. But then if both of you didn't like each other, you didn't like each other, and just move past that. I don't think we should still be talking about it. But Irina needs to be embarrassed for how she was treating the other girls. She needs to feel exactly how she's feeling, and she needs to process that, realize that is not okay. That is not okay. That's not how you treat people, especially when you used to be on the other side. Like, girl. I do like that Zack is ambitious. People are speculating on the internet that he is neurodivergent. I don't know if he is neurodivergent, but because of his quirkiness, I can see why people are alluding to that. Whether or not he is on the spectrum, autistic, whatever, that is none of our business. I don't feel like if he didn't want to disclose that, he didn't disclose it, then we shouldn't try and diagnose him ourselves, you know what I mean? Or speculate and make it a whole thing on the internet, because I don't think that's nice, you know? Now you're giving Irina vibes. Oh, Bliss looked like a goddess. I forgot to say, that girl was looking, she really, that purple she and Zack were matching, that was so cute to me. I think everybody was matching their partner. That's the usual way that they do the reunions, so I wasn't surprised that they were matching. with their partner, but they seem to be happy in their relationship, and I do think that their relationship will work. Do I think Chelsea and Kwame gonna work? No, but she's gonna drag it out for as long as she can to save face, because that's what Chelsea does. And you could tell that when Kwame was trying to address some things, and she said, "So you're throwing me under the bus," you know. But I can understand not airing out all your dirty laundry on the internet to make yourself look bad. But again, if it needs to be addressed, then address it. Okay, next we have Paul and Micah. Okay, good things about Paul. Paul is very handsome to me.